Greetings from Israel to all the participants in the energy conference in Greece this week. I want to start first by thanking Jonathan Constantine and the Republicans Overseas in Israel the Republicans Overseas Hellenic chapter for inviting me to participate in this extremely important event that concerns our countries in this region at a juncture in history which is also very dramatic and extremely important for not only our peoples but all of the entire world. I apologize for not being able to attend in person at the conference, but due to the current travel restrictions on airline logistics from Israel due to the ongoing war in the region, I was unable to make travel plans. So I'll have to suffice with this video addressed to you. And again, thank you for the opportunity to speak to the conference participants. The major thing, the point or theme that I'd like to emphasize is what I just alluded to a moment ago, and that is the Eastern Mediterranean is in a position of great flux, which presents enormous challenges as well as opportunities for the 3+1 configuration of states. That is Greece, Cyprus, Israel, and the United States. And indeed, one could speak of even 3+2, because in light of the discussions that were held in Washington in the last 4 weeks with Indian Prime Minister Modi and President Trump concerning a peace corridor that would span the distance from India all the way to the Eastern Mediterranean. India too is a player in these events, and one of the things that we need to focus on is strengthening the thinking and the planning that goes behind both the peace corridor and its predecessor and the Eastern Mediterranean Alliance 3+1. The importance of energy to this cooperative agreement between our countries is obviously the basis of our discussion. With the discovery in recent years of fossil fuel deposits in the Eastern Mediterranean off the Israeli coast, as well as Lebanon and Cyprus, and in the Aegean Sea. This area becomes itself a source of energy, not only for use of the region, but for Europe and the world as a whole. But in order to tap into those and utilize those resources, of course, we need vehicles for transporting these fossil fuels from the gas fields in the Eastern Mediterranean to Europe via Cyprus and Greece. Unfortunately, one of the things that happened during the Biden administration, which thankfully has just ended about a month ago or 2 months ago almost, is that they torpedoed this whole program, much to our disappointment here in Israel, and I know in Greece as well. And what I have learned fairly recently from Jonathan and his excellent work in the Hellenic chapter is that the policies that led to the Biden administration's decision to kill the Eastern Mediterranean project are continuing even at this date, notwithstanding the change of administration. And this is happening under the aegis of players from the Biden administration who are now out of office, but are continuing to exercise great influence on the policies, particularly of the Greek government, at the present time. And I don't pretend to be an expert on internal Greek politics, but the fact that I understand that the current administration in Greece seems to be of the opinion that the passing of administrations, or the transfer of administrations in Washington, is a temporary affair which they can simply ignore and go on acting and policy making as if the Democrats were still in control in Washington. We need to remember that the election results of November 5th, 2024, resulted in a total landslide in favor of the conservatives in the Trump administration, Trump Vance, and the GOP. Not only did we take the White House, not only did we recapture the Senate, U.S. Senate, not only did we retain, albeit by a very tenuous margin, control of the House of Representatives, we also won the national popular vote by 3 or 4 million, which is something that in Republican history, political history, is a very rare phenomenon. And it means that conservatives in the Republican Party achieved an enormous landslide on November 5th and a mandate to really overhaul the totality of U.S. domestic and foreign policy. And that goes in particular for what is happening here in the Eastern Mediterranean. The State Department and the White House, through our friends, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the National Security Director Mike Waltz, are conducting at this moment a comprehensive review of all U.S. foreign policy policies around the globe, including the Eastern Mediterranean. One of the things that we've seen of late, of course, is there's been a heavy emphasis on the reinvigoration of U.S.-Israeli ties in light of the ongoing war against Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the fall of the Syrian government and its ouster by Al-Qaeda forces under al-Julani. Of course, the war to reopen international shipping lanes in the Red Sea, which had been interdicted by the Iran-backed Houthi regime in Yemen. The United States is in the midst of an unprecedented military campaign to bring an end to the Houthi interdiction of international navigation in the Red Sea at this moment as we speak. And then finally, the head of the snake, Iran itself, which is literally maybe moments away from achieving not only nuclear weapons capacity, but more importantly, or equally as important, the capacity to deliver those weapons through ballistic missiles. And that is a development that no one in the region, including the 3+1 consortium, we cannot allow this to happen. And dramatic events are, in my understanding, in store in the coming weeks about dealing with that particular problem. But in light of those developments, and I should add to this mix some troubling developments that have been going on and have been reaching a new high pitch in Turkey, where the current dictator, that's what I call him, Erdogan in Turkey, has started to plan for the end of what's supposed to be the end of his term limits in 2028, I believe it is, by arresting the mayor of Istanbul, who is considered his principal opposition in Turkey. And that, I think, plus Turkey's active intervention in Syria, where we are concerned here with the possibility that the Turks would actually have a plan to take over and run either directly or through puppets the Syrian government, and that, of course, is has a direct impact on the whole economic and geopolitical situation in the Eastern Mediterranean, since Syria has a large littoral on the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. So, and not to mention the Turkish involvement with the Northern Republic of Cyprus, whatever it's called, it has different names, but they are also obviously running that piece of Cyprus, and that's in violation of international law. And the whole prospect for Turkish engagement or in this region is also on the radar screen. How Washington will be reacting to the Turkish initiatives in this area is another big question. President Trump has indicated that he has a good personal relationship with Erdogan in Turkey, and that is an important factor to watch. At the same time, Turkey is acting in ways that are directly threatening Israel, and of course, we all know the Turkish longstanding friction with Greece. So, and of course, Cyprus, or the part of Cyprus that remains free. Now, all of this points to the importance of bringing to the attention of the administration in Washington the significance of this Eastern Mediterranean energy consortium that we were all talking about during your conference. And one of the objectives that I know Jonathan and I are working on is to do precisely this by carrying to Washington the message about how the progressive left, the remnants, the fossils of the Biden administration, are attempting to to continue the policies of the former administration, and thinking that for some reason, Trump is just a kind of a blip on the radar screen, and will somehow disappear in the next 2 years, or be relegated to the dustbins of history. This is this is wishful thinking, to put it mildly. According to all the polls in the United States that we're looking at now, President Trump's approval rating has reached a new high, over 51%. The American people the public is supporting the vast majority of President Trump's initiatives, both with respect to domestically and abroad, including with respect to Israel and Iran and so on. And therefore, Trump is no passing phenomenon. He's here to stay. He has made already in 8 weeks in office extraordinary changes at a rapid pace, unprecedented in American history, across the spectrum of domestic and foreign policy, and he promises to continue to do so. In fact, one of the big problems we're having in dealing with the administration in Washington is moving so fast and so fundamentally that the infrastructure within the bureaucracy, which he's also trying to curtail, as you know, through the Doge initiative under Elon Musk, he doesn't really have at his disposal all of the talent and manpower necessary to attend to all of the various issues and crises that the United States is facing in the world, as a result of the misbegotten policies of the Biden administration, including those which the Biden fossils are trying to continue in the Eastern Mediterranean, particularly with respect to influence on the Greek government. Now, I don't want to take all of your time, but I have learned some shocking things from Jonathan Constantine's extraordinary report, which you can see here, and I've enjoyed reading it. And really just a phenomenal research project, really tying together a lot of the circumstantial evidence of this democratic progressive influence over the Greek government. And I am working and hope to work here in Israel with the powers that be in the Israeli government to also bring these important findings and evidence to their attention, so that we all can work together to educate and inform the Trump administration, 2.0 administration in Washington, about what is really happening in Greece and why they should wake up and put an end to this attempt by the Biden administration fossils under people like the former Greek ambassador to Greece, Piat, and the former special envoy Amos Hochstein and his plants in the Greek government, as I've learned. They have to be identified, and the Trump administration needs to put an end to this in order to resurrect and reinvigorate the Eastern Mediterranean consortium that consists of Israel, Greece, Cyprus, and perhaps some other actors like India in the near future. With that, I will wish all of you an excellent conference, and again express my regrets that I won't be able to join you in person. But know that in spirit, we here at Republicans Overseas Israel and our 500,000 U.S. citizen voters in Israel are solidly behind the Trump administration and our good friends in Greece and Jonathan Constantine and this extraordinary work that he's doing to protect the values that the American people voted by landslide on November 5th and re-electing Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and his amazing administration. Thank you all. Shalom.